This is a Samsung 6013 1300 watt cleaner, and I've been told it's not picking up, so we'll have a look. And also the recall's not working either, so let's have a look and see what's going on here. And now the reason it's not picking up is because there's no bag in it. Now that's still a reason why it won't pick up on these cleaners, because without a bag in this model cleaner, the lid won't close, and you can see around the edges here you've got it closed up, and it gets open and open and open more so there. It's not closed up here. And the reason for that, without a bag on this fitting here, you slide the bag on there and the tube comes in there into the bag. The reason it won't close is because that hasn't got the weight of the bag on it. There's a blocker here, we'll call it a blocker. Now without the bag on, this blocker gets in the way of the seal, and the lid, this part of the lid won't close down onto the seal. So that's the reason, it's one of the reasons why it may not be picking up. She's trying to use it without a bag, closes it down, looks right, but in actual fact it's not really closed, it's still open. So that's the first problem. You can actually see this. If I take this out of here, it's on this flap here. What as you see, it's a good idea actually to stop people from using it. You can see how it goes across, it'll stop the lid from closing. So when you've got a bag on this, just the weight of the bag keeps that out of the way. It's a good idea. Anyway, so the next thing we want to do is to dismantle it and get to find out the reason why this recoil is not working. Okay, common fault. This filter here and here, there's another filter on here. These things need to be replaced. Exhaust filter there. We'll just get that out of the way. And there are 3 screws which we have to undo. There's 1, 2 and the third one here. So we can take the cleaner apart, and I like to get the lid out of the way on these. And it's a simple, very gently over this side here, you can, or this side, whichever side you like, you just ease that over. If it's a gentle leverage, you can lever the lid off quite easily. That gets out of the way, and now we can start taking our screws out. Right, get the jumper out of the way. Right, take these screws out of here. One, two, and the next one, which makes 3. So we're going to 1, 2, 3 screws. There's 2 screws here which have to come out at the top. Or the exhaust filter here. And then you can then lift this assembly off here. There's one more screw here, one more screw there, one more over there. So we'll just take these 2 over here. And then we can lift this right out here. These connectors here, all you have to do is squeeze the two, well there's one on each, one on that one, and just give it a pinch there. I'm just zooming on that for you. Just give it a pinch here, that comes off here, and then you can move that over to one side. You can't put them the wrong way around on reassembly. The 3-pin connector is the long one and the 2-pin one's shorter. And we can lift this out the way, and then we can get to our recoil mechanism. And there we have our recoil mechanism. We can have a look at that and see what's going on. And that's the motor in there, which we don't have to bother with today, but we will do anyway. Now to remove the recoil mechanism, we simply pull it up like so, and already I can feel the spring coming back. That was just jammed. It could even be the lead just cooled itself off a bit too lally, as I call it. Anyway, there's the recoil spring on that side. These things very often jam, and or sometimes the lead gets so badly wound back on that they sometimes simply just need rewinding on. Right, we'll have a look at this recoil mechanism anyway. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to put the lead on here, and we'll just rewind this back on here. Simply hold the plastic casing. If you let that go, it will spin, and the rewind coil spring there will put it all in, but I don't want to do that. So just let that rewind itself on here. Let that go. Now underneath here is the ring gear, which we'll take off. This is a Torx driver. I'm not sure what size. I don't have a Torx driver. I've just got a little screwdriver that fits in. Anyway, there we are. So there's the ring gear. That's what keeps all the connections going to the motor while this is winding in and out. Give you a little bit of an explanation. You can see those two brass rings there, okay, which goes to this set here, same connection there. This is just one piece of metal here, and that runs on the outer ring, which is slightly lubricated, and the negative one, they run on the inner ring, so that you can coil the lead on this drum, and it's a recoil, but instead of the lead getting all twisted and manked up, these keep the connections and the current flowing to the motor without damaging a lead which would otherwise be twisted up manually. So we have the plug here. You have your plug, which supplies current through the mains lead to these ring gears here. 1, 2. That current, electricity, voltage, is picked up by one set, two set, the positive and the negative, which are positioned, the positive one on the outer ring and the negative one on the inner ring. This then takes current to this plug here, which is plugged in to our little printed circuit board with the on and off switch on. So when the lead comes up here onto our 2-pin socket there, we go onto this little small printed circuit board. Now this is simply an on-off switch and an interference suppressor. So if we take this off, you'll see underneath there's nothing underneath, it's just a printed circuit, and there we have the on-off switch and a interference, a suppressor capacitor there, and that's all there is to it, just simply that. So there's nothing there to bother us, unless you have to replace the on and off switch one day, which you probably won't have to do anyway. And that's about it for that board. So then the electricity, the current goes into there, interference suppression on off switch comes out of here onto the 3-pin connector, which is hiding down here, and that takes you to the motor. The next thing I'm going to do is we'll get these parts out of the way, and we can now strip down, get down to the motor. Let's move that over there. Right, well there's only 2 screws we have to undo if we want to take a look at the motor. There's one here, and another one just here. And you just lift off the cover, like so, don't lose your screws. And then we've got access to the motor and the brushes. Now to remove the motor, just hold it there and just lift it out. It's as simple as that. And then we can get the casing out of the way and have a look at our motor. Okay, so we've got the motor out now. Continuing on the journey of our current, our electricery. Okay, so here we have the supply from the printed circuit board, and this comes down here, and if we follow it through, we'll just say positive in. I mean, electronics people, we know it's not really that, but we'll say it is. So we've got your positive electricity comes in here. There's a thermal cutout. That's what stops your motor if your vacuum cleaner gets overheated. If you're daft enough to use a plastic bag as a dust bag, which I have found in the past, believe it or not, using plastic bags, amazing, isn't it? Anyway, so then we go through the field calls and through your brushes. The next thing we're going to look at is the armature. Now when you're looking at an armature, don't be tempted to touch the commutator in there. What turns around, you can't see, because if you do you'll get grease on it off your fingers, and the commutators inside there don't like grease, you'll damage it. But here's your brushes on each side, and as you can see looking at the top, they are directly opposite. So if you decide to change the brushes, I would take this top piece off. That's just a motor mounting that is, but don't, you might lose it. Put it away safe. You can do the same with the bottom motor mounting seal. Just take that off, it's not a problem. Inside here are your fans. You can have a visual look in there, give it a turn clockwise from the bottom, and have a look at your fans. But to change the brushes, it's very simple. There's a screw here. You simply undo this screw here, like so. When you've undone that screw, you can then give it a little wiggle and a pull, and off come. Now be careful you don't damage your brush. Now off comes the brush holder and the brush, which as you can see there's plenty of brush on that left. Whoops, don't lose the screw in the fans. And that's where it goes back into, and you get your new brushes. The thing is, these brushes, as you can see, they're okay. They're not chipped or damaged in any way, and there's plenty of life left in them. When you put the new ones in, or replace your old ones, be sure the connectors slot just underneath that spade connector on this particular model. Inside here you can see there is. Okay, so I'll do a quick reassembly on this now. And put our brush back in here. Be careful not to bang it around on the commutator. Put our motor mounting back on the back over the fangs. Let's see, you can see what we're doing. Put our top mounting back in. Right, there's that part done. And we can bring our casing back in. Okay, with the vacuum cleaner handle pointing towards me, there's the motor mount on the fan side. That slots down there, and your two motor mounting rubber knobby things go into two little holders there, with your leads up of course, and that's how the motor mounts in. And there we are. They're located in those two holder recesses there, the top and the rubber one into the inlet filter there. We've put back in place our ring gear switching, which only goes on the one way of course. You can feel that slot on when it's in the right position. That's it, like that. It's got flats on the spindle, so it can only go in one way. And now, what we have to do now is to basically put a few turns on it. As you're turning this, you can see the recoil spring. You wind it up. Now, if you then, now what we want this to do is to be strong enough to recoil this lead. So we're up to about 10 half turns. So that's about 15 half turns. So let's see if it'll recoil itself. No, not very strong. That's about 20, 22 so far. I'll pop that back in there and see how we go with that. Let's see if we, yeah. So that's about 22 half turns. Now I'll say half turns because practically you can't do a full turn without letting it go. And if you let it go, of course, it will recoil and spring out. I'm just going to pull it out a bit because I've got to get the leads in this slot here. I just want to make sure those leads are coming through that slot and they're not trapped. There we are. You see the two leads are in the slot here. Okay, now we can reassemble the top. That's that piece reassembled. The next thing, of course, is the motor cover. Now taking that this way round, so there's your fan enclosure there. take that leader, just put that over there for a moment, and this pair here come up through that gap like so. Drop that over the motor, and then we can do a power 1, 2, and now we can put the assembly on here, being sure that you get both leads through this gap here. That's one there, and two there, like that. Okay, bring that over here. You bring the seal side down first. That slots, there's a groove here, so it slots just to that side of the seal. You bring it back down, and it should be in place like that. Then we do up our 4 screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next off, we put our 3 connector on here. Connector on here. You can hear them snap into place. There we are. Then our switch and recoil goes on here, making sure you've got it in the right place. You feel it locate. Make sure you've got it in properly. Pull the lead out, and that seems okay. Listen for the switch working. I'm holding this down now before I put the screws in to make sure it's located properly. Yes, I can hear the switch going. So now we can do up our 3 screws. This one, which is down in this hole here, I'll just push that up out the way. That was holding itself in all right, so that's that one in. And we have one more screw here and one more over there. Just get it in the little hole there. On that. And there we are, that seems to be that part. And we can put our little assembly back on. Now there are 2 filters to be replaced here. There's this filter here, which is an exhaust filter, which fits in there, and the filter here, with inlet, which just pops in there. I'm not going to replace these at the moment, for the simple reason I haven't got any. So we'll just put the lid back on first. You can see the 2 lugs here. That will just snap into place like so. There. And the exhaust cover plate. That's on there. And there we are. Now, all we need now is the bag, otherwise it won't seal up. and 2 filters, 1 filter there, 1 filter there. But we can still test it now anyway, so that's what we'll do right now. Put the lead out and plug it in. And there we are. Now, until we get the new bag, there's going to be no suction. But there we are. And that's our strip down complete. And you just take the lead over there. And there we are. There's our Samsung veloce-eco 1300 watt vacuum cleaner. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, put them on the comments, and if you like this video, please give us a like on the button and subscribe for any more videos that go up. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.